Hey guys, I am super excited to talk to you today about pouring resin using these two products, which is an epoxy hardener mixed with an epoxy resin. We can create something that makes a super glossy clear finish over the top of your painting. So stay tuned as I walk you step by step as we go through and create this resin finish over the top of a painting. I just finished a collaborative piece that I did with my friend Hiroko. Hello, we are here for Technique Tuesday and we're going to be talking about how to pour resin. So you have epoxy resin. There are two parts to this. You have to do equal amounts of the hardener and the resin together, and then we are going to stir in this clean, clear bucket. It has to be 100% clean. In fact, so much so that I went down to the hardware store and bought a brand new one and rinsed it to make sure that there is nothing in here that would get even slightly dirty. Note to self, the guy at the hardware store told me you could also put a plastic bag inside your bucket. Oh. So that would keep it from, then you can just clear out the resin and it keeps from getting anything from the bucket in the resin. So Hiroko had a really good point. She said, what happens if you have a dirty bucket? A lot of things. It can get into the resin and then get stuck in your painting over your painting. It can actually affect the resin so it doesn't cure correctly. There's a lot of things that it can do. So we want to make sure that the bucket is completely clean. And then we're going to pour into these two cups exactly the same amount of resin and hardener. And then we're going to pour those into the bucket and we're going to stir for 3 to 7 minutes. Now you want to stir pretty good and consistently, but you don't want to whip it. And you want to make sure that there's no white, milky streaks that would be left in it. And that's how you get started. And then we'll show you the second part on when we pour the resin over the top. Okay, so first part is this. Hiroko, you want to take one part and I'll take the other. Okay. So we're going to pour into, make sure our cups are clean. And we're going to pour in, let's take our things off the top. This is a new set, which is good because sometimes it can get kind of chunky and weird and old. And you want to toss that if that's the case. And then you're going to pour just very carefully into your cup. And I'm going to pour it almost all the way to the top, Hiroko.
Okay, all right.
So where it's just about to...
Oh, this one comes out
really slow. Yeah. One is a hardener and one is the resin. So this almost to where, we're going to get it to where almost the top where you have a little spot that's going to be on there.
And no smell.
Yeah, it's not any smell.
It's really gooey.
Yeah. And maybe that's too much, but I think it's okay. I think just go ahead and fill it up. Mm-hmm. We might have too much resin. In that case, I'll try to find another painting to pour resin on, because it is it's something where you can have good. I think that's good, Hiroko. All right. Make sure it goes. So we're making it right, even. Yep, let it settle. I think that's right, even to where at the very, very top. Mm-hmm. We're 1 part resin and 1 part hardener. And I don't know if you guys can see. There we go. We have 1 cup and 1 cup. And now we're going to move this aside. And we're going to pour these into the bucket. So I'm making sure the bucket, I clean the bucket. I'm making sure there's no dirt or dust or anything. And now we're going to go ahead and just pour in equal parts. And like Hiroko said, the hardener or the resin is actually quite a bit less, it's really thick compared to the hardener. And you can kind of use another thing is I'm using a clean wooden stick, a brand new clean wooden stick that I got at the hardware store. Okay, so we've mixed our 7 minutes, and now Hiroko's going to take a brush. You want to use a nice clean brush, and I'm going to start pouring the resin over the top. We're going to let it drip over, and you can move things around with the brush. The key again is to get rid of any little bubbles. So we kind of have a lot of bubbles right now and so we're trying to kind of break those up a little bit. So I'm just going to come through. Yeah,
Wow.
it's very, very glossy, and that's what's going to make the effect look like it's under glass, or that it's,
So beautiful.
yeah. Resin is very cool. You do have to be very particular about using it. What do you think, Hiroko?
Amazing. Amazing. Seriously, because it doesn't even look like a paintings.
Yeah, it's just like a glowing, resin has a way of making it look.
Yeah, very shiny and just amazing look. Oh, I'm
Good.
so happy.
Good, good, good. All right, beautiful. Hey guys, we are back to talk a little bit about the life lesson with resin. So resin and I have a very, I don't know, kind of a love-hate relationship. I actually learned a lot from resin when I poured a whole entire table. I did this really cool art table where I laid all of my palettes underneath and then poured the resin over the top to create for the back of the studio. And I ran into so many problems. So I started to reflect on this. Number one, it's a product that you actually have to follow the rules. I know I'm not a rule follower, but in some things in life, and especially with this product, you actually need to be exact on what you do. Another reflection from using resin is it's really important to remember that what you estimate time or things to be, it's always, you always need to give yourself more time and also maybe more help than what you think you're going to need. And I learned this because I was pouring this on the table and I didn't have it set in the right spot, and it was actually leaking through the side of the table, and we got stuff stuck in my hair. It was like such an absolute disaster. And I think if I had just slowed down, if I'd actually taken the time to do some research, read a little bit more about it, read the actual directions, and like listen to other people that have done it before that maybe know what they're doing instead of just diving into it and not taking time to do the research, I could have saved myself a lot of time and a lot of stress and a lot of money. So the life lesson there, for me at least, is that I think taking your time is never a bad idea. Slowing down instead of running through things in life, going at a speed 100 miles an hour all the time, but actually just like tapping the brakes a little bit, taking a little bit of time, slowing things down so you have time to process, you have time to read, you have time to think, that you will make wiser and better decisions than if you just fly through it. And I remember a counselor told me one time, she's like, Alita, there are so many wrecks that would be avoided if people just slowed down. So going through life, the way that you move in your life is just fast, 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 fast. She's like, in life and in love, slowing down and taking it easy and just taking time and giving yourself, it's not gonna hurt anything by just slowing down. So if there's something I've learned about resin, it is that it is not a fast process. It is a process that you have to follow the instructions. You have to take your time. You have to also be patient. I have to let this sit now for 2 full days, which is like, and it's a beautiful thing. I think slowing down is a really beautiful thing. So in life, in love, in just about everything, if you slow things down, you'll save yourself from getting in a lot of big wrecks. And that is a wrap. It's your Technique Tuesday and your life lesson. And don't forget, you're a 10, you're a 10, you're a 10.